I'm Michael Fisher, craft beer enthusiast and industry professional. I'm on a journey to find some people whose professions or hobbies revolve around the fermentation of malt and hops. We're going to dive into their passions and share some conversations over their favorite brews. So join me as I bring the brew to you. Welcome to the next round of Brew To You. I'm your host, Michael Fisher, and today we are at Brewnuts Donut Bar on the corner of 65th and Detroit. I'm here with the owners, Shelley and John Pippin. Thanks for having me out. So give us the history of Brewnuts and how beer plays into that.
There was such a brewery boom happening in Cleveland at that time in 2010, and then at the same time, there was really like a food renaissance happening in Cleveland. And what I noticed was that I had lived in cities like Chicago and Austin, Texas, where there were really unique, sort of weird, quirky food concepts. And while Cleveland was starting to really burgeon with a lot of awesome new food ideas, there still wasn't some of these things we had seen other places. So I sat up in bed one night, and John and I live in a condo down here in Cleveland, so it's, one of these like tiny little shoebox. And he was down in our living room, watching SportsCenter or something, and I was up in our bedroom, and I literally sat up in bed, and I just yelled out, "What if we made beer donuts?" The TV paused, and this really long pregnant pause, and he literally just said, "I like that." And there was definitely that like, clutch the pearls, like, you're gonna quit these two jobs and you're gonna just go make beer donuts? I think we just knew people needed to be educated about it. They needed to get excited about it. So the next day we went out and, like any good entrepreneur, went to Target and bought a countertop fryer and literally started teaching ourselves how to make donuts.
So as a fat kid, I love beer. And I'm a sweet nut, so I love donuts, cake, and that sort of thing, but typically not together. I definitely say I could go for a donut and go for a beer in the same day, but typically not together.
It's there, you just...
Right, we're gonna put them together today, a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. This is a chicken or the egg, I guess, thought. Do you consider yourself a donut shop or a beer bar?
We're a donut bar, and that has always been the goal, is to let them both shine without saying, well, this is just donuts, or this is just beer. They both get top billing.
In this case, did the beer inspire the donut, or did the donut inspire the beer?
I would say it's a little bit of both, because we'd had this beer before, and we knew we wanted to do something with it, but then we also were planning and tinkering with the idea of creating this specific donut, which is inspired by a Fig Newton.
You're dressed appropriate for this particular beer, if I'm not mistaken.
This beer is called the Prince Juice from Missing Mountain Brewery, a raspberry cream ale, a little bit on the tart side, big raspberry kick.
Really nice, fresh, bright. I dig it, but it's not overly tart. Kind of takes, the hint of the edge off.
Well, and they did this right around the time that Prince passed away, is that correct?
Yeah.
So this was inspired by Prince's passing and, the purple raspberry with the whole raspberry beret.
Okay, so let's talk about the donut.
This is a classic raised donut, a more crafted style, because you need to respect that process of bread making. We get a lot of feedback on the dough itself. One of the things that was really important to us was that our donuts were not sugar bombs. The flavors are more nuanced in the sense that our dough is not overly sweet. It's seasoned with a little bit of nutmeg. What we often hear from people is that it reminds them a lot of their grandmother's recipe for some sort of, we've often heard Slovenian or Yugoslavian baked goods. Our glazes and our fillings and our toppings, we generally incorporate beer in all different kinds of ways. So with this one, what we actually did was we did a reduction. We used this beer, we reduced it down, and we used that as the base for the icing, which then what happens is we can cut back the amount of sugar we use in that icing because we're playing with a lot of those natural flavors and sugars from the reduction.
I'm probably more of a raised donut. Yeah, cut that puppy up.
Yeah, right?
Stop teasing me. But I find that I'm probably more of a raised donut guy. I mean, I'll eat a cake donut. I'm pretty equal opportunity when it comes to donuts.
Yeah, sure.
And very similar to beer, I'm pretty equal opportunity when it comes to beer. I mean, I obviously have my favorites, I would say, but I'm willing to try if it's decent, anything.
So we said this one was inspired by a fig Newton.
Okay.
So what we did was we used actual fig in with the beer reduction. So it's like a fig paste that we use as part of the icing as well.
Okay.
So you're gonna actually get some of that little sandy feeling you get when you eat the inside of a fig Newton. It almost tastes like seeds.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some of that because it's real fig in the icing. It's not just like an extract or a flavoring.
Right, you didn't open up a thing of fig Newtons and scrape them out.
No, we didn't. I would just probably smash the bag of cookies. We'd have
There's a
none left.
process.
And then what we did on top to emulate then that exterior of a fig Newton is we made our own kind of buttery cookie crumbled.
And then this beer is in the icing.
Yes.
All right, well,
Yeah.
here goes nothing.
Cheers.
That's awesome.
So you really get that fig, right?
Yeah.
You're tempering that then like with the breadiness of the dough. You got that little crunch from the cookie crumble.
Wow. It makes that beer sing.
So right, I mean like beer and donuts doesn't suck, right?
No, not at all. So on our next beer, we're gonna get a little heavier here, and we're also gonna kind of discover, outside of the fact that you guys are kind of the OGs of the donut beer game in Cleveland, you're kind of local donut celebrities.
So yeah, this is a crowd favorite at the Cleveland Donut Fest this year. This year's actually our back-to-back champion year.
It's like all the crazy donut people like us, and I wear a donut costume every year. People get to come and try all these different styles and all these different donuts, and one of the things we always hear is, well, I don't drink beer, so never mind. And I'll just say, hang on, try one of our donuts. What they often will experience is that they can't identify beer in the recipe. What they identify is that this tastes a little different. And so it's more like, I don't know what's different, but I like it.
So if I just come in here confused, like, I don't know how I feel about it, let's go on.
I need to try a dozen.
So what do we have here?
A peanut butter chocolate bullseye. This is kind of based on the idea of one of those peanut butter blossom cookies. They're the first thing off the tray at Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? It's got the peanut butter base, it's got the Hershey Kiss set in the center, and everybody raids them from the cookie tray, and then there's just like gross cookies left.
Right.
So this is a creamy peanut butter porter icing, chocolate ganache, almost like the consistency of like a hot fudge sauce almost.
I'm so glad I don't live in Cleveland. For my own safety.
So this one is made with the Millersburg Nut House peanut butter porter.
I've not had this specific beer from them, but I've heard great things. Yeah, sure, I'll take half.
Yeah, well, you know, you're the guest of honor. And since this is a ganache, it's almost more like the center of a truffle. So you're gonna have that thicker, richer, it's not gonna be creamy like a cream filling or creamy like a custard. It's gonna be thicker and richer like a hot fudge sauce or a ganache.
That's nice.
Saltier with the glaze.
Yep.
Really nice and deep and rich with that ganache. Now hit it with the beer.
Oh wow, it really brings out the chocolate in the beer. You know what I really get there too? Kind of like the nutty character comes out like almost, is it hazelnut? I get kind of like a hazelnut coffee kind of vibe from between the chocolate and the peanut butter. All right. I feel like we focused a whole lot on the donuts, and as we should have. But let's do the beer first. Let's talk about this beer. I think this is a special beer because it's unique.
Definitely special, unique beer. A white stout. It's the Butcher and Brewer Albino Stout. Like we said, a lot of the same characteristics, a little bit roasty, a little with a chocolatey taste.
The thing I love about this beer and why it inspired the donut that it inspired, what we did in the body of this donut that is so much what I'm smelling and tasting in this, we're talking about that sort of like sugar forward aspect of it, to make it taste like a chocolate chip cookie, is we did brown sugar, white sugar, and butter, and we creamed those components together. And I get so much of that same like wonderful marriage in this beer.
So I thought this was a chocolate donut. It is not.
So this is a cake donut inspired by a chocolate chip cookie. The fact that it's a batter and not a dough is gonna create that kind of crispy exterior. They're definitely denser in the sense that it's cake, so it's not gonna have.
Smells like the fair.
Yeah, it's definitely more in that camp. And then you have the mini chocolate chip pieces and some cookie dough, edible cookie dough on top as well to kind of marry that chocolate chip cookie base with the brown sugar and the white sugar.
It's much lighter. I was expecting it to be much more dense. Yeah. It's a nice light eat. You get a slight chewy crunch. I would struggle so hard if I worked here. So tell me about the beer. You guys brought it out, so I'll let you do the honors.
He and I like to sneak away to Key West in Jamaica. We've tried to infuse a little bit of the Keys and the Jamaican spirit here in Brewnuts. So if you guys go in the ladies' room, you'll see flamingo wallpaper, which is why we're very smitten with the flamingo motif here.
So a grouping of flamingos is a flamboyance. So this is
I could not like
Available in a 30.
I could not like that
Yes.
more if
Right.
it was possible.
We couldn't
a
find
30
it in
pack of
anything
this
less than a 30 pack.
is a flamboyance.
We have several flamboyances in our cooler.
Definitely a college beer that I used to drink without the strawberry and lemonade, obviously.
Yeah, Natural Light, right?
The Natty Light
Sure.
was the go-to everyday drink of choice back in college.
From a quality standpoint, or consistency standpoint anyhow, as goofy as you may find this beer to be, it's spot on from that actual like scientific quality control standpoint.
Well, I mean, when were your most fun times drinking beer? Probably smashing Natty Light in college.
I mean, today's been a good time.
Yes, yes.
So strawberry, shandy, lemon, all mingling in here. So we have fresh pureed strawberry, we've got zested lemon, fresh squeezed lemon juice. We'll carve this bad boy up. You're getting the lemon candy.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Right? So good.
Who knew about the beer and food pairings? Beer and wine.
And get us another round of the Natter Days.
For our fifth beer, it's kind of always the unique beer question. As fans of the show, you've seen how it goes before. I know a popular thing out there in the world is those off-menu items. Like you can go to Starbucks and order something that's not on the menu. If you're cool, you know what to order.
Yeah.
Or you go to Chipotle, you can order certain things that, you know, if you just ask for it, they'll give it to you. And so I heard a rumor that you guys had an off-the-menu item. Let's keep the secret between us about what's the off-the-menu item.
A little homage to Cleveland movie past, I guess, with the Christmas Story. But yeah, our Triple Dog Dare, our classic yeast-raised, classic glazed donut, a 12-ounce PBR, and a shot of our favorite Fireball.
Okay. What inspired this? Where did this come from?
So we wanted something that was off the menu that was going to be a really great bargain. So if somebody came in and they just knew, I got a $5 bill in my pocket, what can I get with this?
That might be the best deal in Cleveland.
It could be.
In general. Is there a recommended method, or how do people typically?
I feel like this is like watching a hot dog eating competition where there's like the dude that wants to dip the bun in the beer or in the water, but you approach it any way you want to. I mean, typically, I always just shoot first. Yes, we've seen it all.
Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers, you guys. I love how you're sniffing that like we're gonna get some nuanced experience here right now. But
This is one heavy donut.
it's a biggie.
Only got a third
So
of
now
all of these donuts, so now
You're getting the full
my
experience.
goodness. This is the best $5 you can spend in Cleveland. You heard it here first.
So this donut, this one was a real labor of love.
Yeah.
Our classic glaze.
You guys just go on.
Well-
I'm gonna do this.
Well, if you're gonna be a donut bar and you're gonna make donuts, you need to have a good classic glazed. And I feel like the day we got this right, we were in the condo and I was home alone. John was running around and he came home and I just like put a spoonful of icing in his mouth the second he walked in the door. I was like, did I hit it? Did I nail it? Did we get it? And so this was the one that we, I think, really spent the most time, because it was the thing we started with was, if we're gonna do this, we have to get a classic glazed right. And this is the one we worked the longest on.
Well, that about wraps it up for this round of Brew To You. I'm ready for a nap, but I've kind of got the jitters. But it's been an absolute blast coming out here. I think it's true what they say. Do not mess with Cleveland, right? You guys have figured that out.
This?
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for having me out. Don't forget to follow them on all social media platforms at Brewnuts.
Yep.
You can check out their recipes every week on Thursdays.
Yep.
I would assume Instagram is the big driver for that one.
We always announce the new menu, yep.
Perfect. Come in here, tell them Brew To You sent you, lay your $5 bill on the bar, get yourself a triple dog Daria, and we'll catch you on the next round of Brew To You.